Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday afternoon. Hope yours is going well. And we've got another Seahawks video to get to today. But first, we are now at 2,030 subscribers to the YouTube channel. That's right, I said 2,030. This says 2020, I know, but my YouTube channel says we've hit 2,030. This hasn't caught up yet. I don't know exactly why, but regardless, as far as YouTube is concerned, we are at 2,030. So shout out to all the subscribers, and as always, special tip of the cap goes to the, as of right now, 27 channel members, including new channel elite member, Hasher. And of course, as always, we go through all of our elite channel members in every video. So Brandon Mikel, also known as HaWKxXAsYLuM, HaWKxXAsYLuM, Rip, and Scott Todd. Hasher joins those 5. All right. It's Wagner Watch Wednesday, and something very odd has happened with Bobby Wagner in the last couple weeks, and it's a little strange that I would talk about this right now because the last 2 weeks the defense has honestly played really well. They held the Eagles to 17 points, with 8 of those points coming in garbage time on a Hail Mary, and they held the Giants to 17 points as well. So the fact that I would have anything to criticize Bobby Wagner on right now, when the defense is actually playing winning football, may seem a little strange. And in fairness to Wagner, he is playing well in a few areas. However, we are talking about one of the highest paid linebackers in the league, so we need to hold him to that standard. And in a couple areas, he's clearly not living up to that standard. And I find myself really wondering if I want to have Bobby Wagner here next season making 17 mil plus. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive in, and we'll dig into the details of what I'm talking about here. So in terms of tackles, his tackle numbers have really lagged behind the last couple of games, but he's still on pace to meet my 2020 expectations. He's got 4 games left to pick up 39 tackles. He may not get there, but again, the addition of Jamal Adams kind of changed the expectations that we could reasonably have for Bobby Wagner. I don't have a particular issue if he falls a few tackles short of 145 in this context. He did not pick up any additional sacks against the Giants. However, we do have an issue here, and it's the same area in which we had an issue against the Eagles. Bobby Wagner missed 2 tackles against the Giants. 2. That means he has now missed 5, count them, 5 tackles in the last 2 games he's played. 5 tackles in 2 games. And across those 2 games, he's only made like 9 or 10 total tackles. So it's time to start thinking that there might be something really wrong here. No linebackers should be missing 30 to 33% of their tackle opportunities, much less a guy like Bobby Wagner. So I don't know exactly what it is that you can point to and say this is what's wrong, but something is wrong. Bobby Wagner missed 5 tackles over the course of 6 days, basically, because Monday Night Football to Sunday afternoon, 6 days, he has missed 5 tackles. His missed tackle rate is now close to 10%, which would make him one of the least reliable tacklers among middle linebackers in the whole league. So yeah, I ragged on him a lot against the Eagles for missing tackles. I got to do it again against the Giants. It's already kind of too late to salvage this season from his perspective in this area. He's already gone far beyond what I was hoping for in 2020. He's gone beyond what he did in 2019 when I noticed a problem. So, yeah, this by itself would make me question if Bobby Wagner is worth all the money he's making. But that's not the only concern that I have. But anyway, moving on, we next have solo tackles. He's at 62 after 12 games. Again, we did add Jamal Adams to the defense. I understand that that changes things a little bit. Jamal Adams is a guy who's going to steal a few tackles that Bobby normally would have gotten. But this tells me he's doing a lot of pile jumping, and he's not having the singular major impact on this defense that he once did. So this is another point of concern for me. QB pressures, did not pick up any new QB pressures against the Giants. I think he only blitzed like once, so not really too concerned about that. Tackles for loss, he did pick up a tackle for loss against the Giants, so he's now at 7 on the year. That's pretty well on pace. He's on pace to get somewhere between 9 and 11, I think. So I'm expecting him to meet or more or less get close enough to my expectations for me to be pretty happy with it. And then we come to turnovers forced. We still have a very unhappy 0 in this category. Cannot force a fumble. Cannot recover a fumble. Cannot pick off a pass. It's starting, well, it hasn't started. It is and has been and continues to be a real problem with his 2020 season. He's simply not making those big splash plays to take the ball away. And in the absence of those, I don't think he's doing enough to make up for it. He is doing well in some areas, and we're about to get into that, but you got to take the ball away a few times a season as a top-tier middle linebacker, point-blank period. All right, passes defensed or passes deflected. He did pick up one of these against the Giants. It was another one that was down the field. It was a great play by him. It helped prevent a first down that probably would have set up the Giants in scoring range, so it was a great play. It was an impactful, meaningful play, so I give it up to him for that at least. He's now at 7, meaning he only needs to get 1 of the last 4 games to meet my 2020 projection, so that's pretty good. I'm willing to accept that, no problem. Run tackles. He picked up 6 run tackles against the Giants, and he was very productive on those run tackles. All of his tackles against the Giants came in the run game, actually. And they were all gains of like 1 yard, 2 yards, 1 yard, -1 yards. It was a really good game for Bobby in run defense, actually. I have to admit that. On a day when our run defense was great outside of 2 drives in the third quarter, which completely destroyed our average, it seems like Bobby did his job. If you take a look at the long carries that the Giants had, it seemed like Quandre Diggs may have made a mistake. Maybe Jordan Brooks missed a tackle at the goal line that could have prevented a touchdown. Bobby did his job, though, in run defense, at least. I can say that. And his average tackle depth on the season is now below 3.3, which would make him one of the best run-defending linebackers in football. So whatever else I can say about Bobby, and believe me, I will, he's excelling in run defense after a really forgettable season when it came to run defense in 2019. All right, now we get to some of his coverage metrics. Let's go to targets. He got targeted 4 times against the Giants. He's on pace to get targeted over 75 times in 2020, which is above what he even had in 2019. Again, I'm not really going to say this is a problem as long as he's not giving up a bunch of big plays in coverage, and so far he hasn't. But if you want to be technical, he is on pace to exceed my 2020 projection for him in coverage. Now we go to completions. He only allowed 2 completions against the Giants. And as long as he's only allowing a couple completions a game, I don't mind him getting targeted. He gave up 2 of 4 attempts. Not bad for a linebacker, especially. Completion percentage allowed is down to 61.4. That's pretty good. I like it. I can live with that for sure. It's even better than he did in 2018. Passing yards allowed is up to 316. So he allowed, let's see here, he allowed a reasonable but not bad chunk of yards through the air, 22 yards in one game. That's not bad at all. I can certainly deal with that. It was a Giants team that had a neutered passing attack because they had Colt McCoy out there, but I can live with 22 yards allowed in coverage. However, tragically, he did allow a passing touchdown, first and only so far passing touchdown of the season. So he did finally allow the other team into the end zone, but 1 is certainly something I'm willing to live with. His passer rating allowed is up to 82.2, which is still very good. Depth of target is up to 65.5. Again, in context, I think this is fine if you take a look at his other coverage metrics. Air yards allowed, 132. Yards after the catch, 184. Both totally fine with me. And his pass rush win rate is at 13.8 now, which is barely below the 14% I wanted from him in 2020. And it's so close, I'm not worried about it. It's basically in line with expectations, and that's really all I got. Bobby is excelling in coverage. He's excelling in pass rushing. He's doing very well in run defense, but We need a little more. We need him to clean up the tackling. We need him to take the ball away a couple times. I'm going to continue to repeat that until he cleans it up. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you for watching. Peace out. Go Hawks. There's going to be some streams tonight. I might do some more Madden just to try to get through Season 1 of the franchise mode. I might do Dragon Quest. We'll see. But either way, I will be seeing you tonight. And yeah, peace out. Go Hawks.